All right. So, my hubby.
My habits.
My question to you is within addiction, how do you go about, how does one go about surviving a relationship within addiction?
That is an awesome question, Heffitz. Um, I wish I knew the answer. How one goes about surviving a relationship within addiction. Obviously, we have with a lot of ups and downs. I think that the same way you would go about surviving a relationship without addiction, um, communication is going to be paramount. And making the other person the priority is also paramount. And I know that that's tough in addiction because it's such a selfish disease. But to answer your question, the way you survive a relationship in addiction is the same way you survive a relationship without addiction.
Okay. Well, okay then, my wife. That's how you feel, but just saying. Um, when you're in an addiction, you and that person together at the time. I think you're so focused on getting that next drug that I don't get to know you and you don't get to know me. Okay? So now we decide after so many years of trying together, I'm not talking about us, but I'm talking in general, okay, couple, and we decide to get clean. We're going to get clean together,
Uh-huh.
okay? And so then we get clean together, and so now, you know, the feelings and the emotions are all coming back, right?
Right.
And I realize I don't know you. I'm like, who is this person?
Right.
I don't know him. I don't remember those actions, and you know, I don't. Now that has happened to us, though, for real though.
Absolutely.
It has happened to us. Through God, that's what's helped us.
Yes.
God truly
Yes.
has helped us, but that has happened to us for sure.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. With regard to it, we were lucky because we were married long before active addiction started.
We knew
And
each
so
other.
we knew each other.
Mhm.
But the moment active addiction took over,
Mhm.
that's where our level of growth stopped.
It stopped right there.
It stopped right there until we then got clean and started to realize, oh, we're not jazz people.
You're fun. My boy, how you just want to bring that up, so that no fear. I never gonna do that to you, sir. Okay then.
We're
That's
not jazz
cool.
people.
No. Okay,
I
but
never
you
knew that.
can't say we're not jazz people. You can say that I say I don't care. I don't naturally care for it. I will listen to it. But to say that I am a jazz person, no, I may not be.
We're
Will I?
not jazz people.
Will I listen to jazz music? Yes, I would. But preferably, no, I would not choose jazz as my husband would. So,
31 years. I thought we were jazz people.
yes, but 31 years and addiction being in a lot of those years, we're growing and we're learning each other
Again,
again. And
counseling help.
counseling helps. But
Speaking of which, excuse me, shout out to His Grace Lance Gabrielle Ellis and his First Lady Garnetta Ellis. We love you guys. Go on.
um, yeah, so I guess one, and then my question to you is another question. Do you feel like, because I don't, but do you feel like within addiction that you should start any relationship?
Absolutely not. Absolutely. You don't even know what you're going to do with yourself in the next 5 minutes when you're in active addiction. Forget that. Not only that, when you come out of addiction, it's probably best if you don't start any relationship for at least a year. Now, in the Fellowship of Narcotics Anonymous, that is a major suggestion, although it's not written in any of their literature. I think it's a great idea not to start any relationships at least a year, because it takes at least a year for your brain to start getting back to normal, to a baseline normal. So you should at least put it off that long.
I believe that you're correct. I believe that it's hard enough when you're trying to get clean. You know, there's so many obstacles in recovery because, whether what your faith is or not, the devil always wants you back in addiction. So there's going to be people who would never show up in your life to offer you nothing in your life before.
Absolutely.
Now that you're trying to get clean, here they come offering you something free. Really? When I was dope sick, you didn't think about offering me nothing, but all of a sudden that I'm clean, you want to give me something.
Yeah.
You know? So.
And that happens ever so often. It's like a continual test, if you will. Ever so often, somebody who knows that you've been out of the game, so to speak, for a long time, they will offer you something.
Yeah.
And I think that that's just a test that those of us who have gotten to this side of active addiction have to undertake ever so often.
Yes. So my question to you, which is both our answer, is no dating.
Absolutely.
No dating.
Absolutely not.
No dating. Okay.
Absolutely.
Is there any questions you have for me?
Actually, just one. Dreams. When you were in active addiction, did you have any dreams? Or better, I've got a better question than that. When you got out of active addiction, were any dreams ignited in your heart?
I guess the dream became different prior to addiction. I guess if I never was in addiction, I would have never had the empathy that I have for people in addiction. So the dream changed to something dealing with addiction and dealing with people in addiction because of being in addiction and seeing how I was treated in addiction and how people who has never had an addiction, how they see you and how they view you and how they treat you. And they treat you like you're less of a person and that you're an addiction, but you're not less of a person because you're an addiction. You're just an addiction. So that dream of mine now is to help people within addiction.
Okay.
But I had to go through addiction in order to come to that dream.
Yeah. Well, so what we've been doing recently is working as recovery coaches for the Campaign for a Drug-Free West Side, and in our duties as such, we're able to help people obtain employment, give them housing support, and also spiritual support. All of those things have different subsets, and we would be glad to talk to you about them. If you have any questions about active addiction, or if you have any questions about starting over in life, we're your huckleberries, if you will. I'm Ernest, and this is Hefix. Thank you for spending some time with us this evening.
Good night.
Good night.